I'm back. So for Sapphiron, I will use a specific guide, which is really nice, made by a player called Razerisk, and who play a lot of private server. So we just look at it, and I will speak about you. I will speak about this boss on this one. So first off, that you have to know with this boss is it will be a boss related with some magic school gear. We had the fire with fire armor in Blackwing Lair. We had the nature in AQ with Vesidius and Uran. And on Naxxramas we have the frost one with Sapphiron. To be clear, each class don't have to get the same amount of frost resistance to manage to have to just manage to kill this boss and to be efficient on it. Just to give you some of average numbers that we want you to reach for all healers, the number you should reach in terms of frost resistance is close to 100 to 110, no more. It will be enough to manage to avoid most of damage, but also to keep enough heal power, mana per second, and all your stats to just heal the raid, because all the raid will get fucking insane amount of damage during all the phases, and you will have to keep the raid up. So you cannot drop too much your main statistic just to have more frost resistance. So the best way to get around 100 to 110 is always the same thing for most all healers. Right? Maybe not shaman, but well, for most of the other it's the same thing. You have 2 rings, alright? So you have to just find 220 frost resistance ring, or maybe better, or maybe lower, like 19 or 18, I don't know. Don't buy me please 15 or 14 frost resistance ring, at least 18, but 20 or 20 more should be the best one, of course. You will have to use 1 frost reflector, right? Because all of the raid is engineer, well, whatever. And on this one you will have 15. So just with this free item you have already 55 frost resistance, half of the amount needed for healers. We will send you a cloak. If you don't have one already, we will send you a cloak, and on this one you will have already 1 enchant on it, so the full amount of frost resistance on the cloak will be 16. So with the cloak and the 2 ring and the trinket, you will have 71 frost resistance. For the rest, it's pretty much easy, because on T2 you have already 10 frost resistance on the head, and you will be able to add 10 more with a patch, frost resistance patch, the same shit like we have in AQ with the 10 nature resistance patch we can just get inside Zul'Gurub. This one will be a bit different. We will be able to get the 2 patch on head and on legs with a quest at Eastern Plagueland, which will be something related with the Scourge invasion, and you will have to kill some mob and grab some mats. I don't know, it's not that hard to get, and you will drop at 100% your head patch on the T2 head, whatever your class is, because 10 frost resistance on head plus the statistic is pretty much perfect, and also because Druid and Priest want to use the 3 ports T2, so it's pretty much the best way to do it. And for the rest, for your legs, it's up to you. Maybe you will use it on T2, maybe you have a nice nice legs to use this, because you will drop your ZG enchant on it. So just think about the best legs you can use for this patch. So with this patch and the T2 head, you will be already at 100, all right, just with that. But you can also add two things. The first one is the enchant on shoulders. So maybe you have also some shoulders on backup where you can just put 5 resistance frost on shoulders. For the shaman, you will be able to add 8 frost resistance on your shield. All right, it's an enchant, really easy to do. Gazlik have it, so just do it as quick as you can. And the last one, who is probably one of the best item to use for frost resistance, is the Tempestria neck, who drop in Winter Spring. Maybe some players have already won, maybe not. If you get it, it's perfect, because it will help you a lot. It's a amulet where you have, which have 15 frost resistance, some intellect and stam statistic. So it's a really good one to use to reach 110 more. But well, for the healer, it will be all. With that, you're already ready and prepare for Sapphiron. But you have to be ready. So you have to get this ring, you have to get your trinket. For the cloak, I told you we will send you one, so you don't have to look at that. You have also to be prepared to farm your 2 patch on legs and head. And well, you have also the trick I told you about the enchant of the shoulders. For the caster, the number you want to try to reach as a caster is around 150 to 180, no more. Why? Because we will need your DPS on this one, so you can't fall too far in terms of hit percent on spell, especially for warlock or for mages. But because you are 2 class who can use some trick on this boss to be more resilient, if I can say it like that. For example, mage, you have your frost guard with a spell who just absorb a lot of frost damage. For warlock, you will have also to sacrifice your blue to have like a big amount of HP regen during all the fight. Yes. And what item I can recommend you, it's probably, well, the same thing like healers, so the 2 rings, the trinket, maybe 2 trinkets if you don't have a tier. I'm probably sure that if you don't have a tier, it's really worth to use double frost reflector. You should have also maybe the amulet from Tempestria, you will have a cloak, you have your T2 and the patch on the head, and you can also add a patch on your legs. So if you want a second pants, second legs, for just allow you to drop a patch next time on AQ40 or maybe on AQ20, just tell us, ask the main ask the master loot, sorry, to give you the legs to be able to drop a 10 ARG patch on it. Oh, but no, let me think about it. No, the legs, it will be different. Yes, the leg will be different. For mages, because probably on head and on legs you have already the patch from ZG, you will have to think about the best way to swap your gear and to find the good one. For Warlock, it's pretty easy because you don't have it on ZG patch, so you will have to use T2 head and to drop RJ patch on the head. But for the legs, probably for Warlock, we will allow you to get the legs from the quest inside Naxxramas, who will grant you some statistic and also 40 frost resistance on it, so 50 resistance with a patch, and it will help you a lot. At some point, we will be able to craft you probably a dress I mean the chest, the frost resistance chest, with one of the best parts to just maximize your hit and your spell power on the other one. So, but it will take some time to give all of you the frost rune and the mats to craft this. So at start, you will have to count on trinket, cloak, head, patch on head, and ring. You have also some boots that you can drop on. I will log my mule. I will show you. It's something bind when equipped. You can just drop. Maybe there is one in HV. Let me check. Not found. But I have some in my bags. Yeah. So this is the temperature one. All right. 8 stam, 5 intellect, 15 frost resistance, and it's bind when equipped. So to get it, you have to kill the frost elemental here where it's when it's spawned. And for the mages, you have also this one, who could be nice. It's also bind when equipped. Maybe you have already some. I don't know. It could be nice if you have some, and it's a really nice way to get some frost resistance, because boats, it's not always the hardest thing to manage to get. So this is a cloak. Yeah, perfect. And last thing about frost resistance for melee and also for hunters, you will have to be around 200 moves. All right, because first, we don't really care about statistic. You just have to get some hits to be able to at least have nice or pretty good DPS. And you want to drop as much damage as you can on you, because most of the raid will be melee. All right, like always, like we will have 10 or 12 warriors and like 4 rogues. So most half of the DPS will be melee, and because you will get hit a lot of the time by the blizzard, who will just fly away into the room, and it's hard to avoid all the time the tick. So to prevent any huge amount of DPS on you, you will have to get a lot of frost resistance amounts. For that, you have for rogues, maybe also for warriors, the shoulders. You can get whatever I explained you. Also, temperature should be nice. Maybe some random item. The two rings. I will log my warrior and will show you also what I have for now. It will maybe help you to build your one. Sorry, so you have like 2 ring, all right, 2021. You have this belt. It drops at Diamond North. The resistance is random, so it will be fire, nature, frost, arcane, or shadow. But well, you just have to wait to get the good one, and you will be okay. You will have also the frost recant. You will be able to use probably on some shoulders if you want to the 5 frost resistant patch on it. You have also your T2, all right, for warriors, and you will have to just get it with the patch. You have to drop this one, and you will have to use this one with a patch on it to get 20 frost resistance. What can you find more? You have, oh, I forget also to tell you, you have the Juju for the frost resistance. It's the Nora. I don't know how we spell it in English, but well, don't forget it. It will have 15 frost resistance. We will also send you a cloak, so you don't have to. I forget something from caster. I forget the wand. You have also all the wand from Stratum, who had 10 frost resistance, so it's mainly perfect for you casters. And so for the melee, you can also use some craft, like some leather or plaid craft, but your goal is to put yourself at 200 frost resistance and to be able to manage to have at least 6% hit on you. So try to think about it already, try to find what you have to find, and be ready for live. If you don't manage to be at 200, it won't be the end of the world, but it will be harder for us to kill the boss. But also, sorry, I forget to explain you that melee, all the first rune we will drop inside Naxxramas will be used to craft the legs for all of melee. So you will have legs with 40 like the caster, but you will be priority on this one. You will have 40 frost resistance on your legs plus the patch, so 50, and you have to count that on your build, because we will have to get that to be able to kill it, because it's just one frost rune for the legs, or maybe two, one or two, just let me think. Maybe it's two. It's one maybe for the ring and two for the legs. But we should manage to get at least 30 frost rune before moving to Sapphiron, maybe more, if we manage to kill some trash on the launching. So all warriors at least, and probably all rogues, will be able to have the 50 frost resistance on legs. So with legs, if you have 50, with that I'm already at 19. With that I'm already at 106, 116. I have the cloak, 131. With the head, that will be about 20, so it's already 151, and I will probably use on some shoulders, so I should be able, at least for me, to reach 176 frost resistance for the first week, who could be really nice. If you manage to be at least at this amount of frost resistance, it will be perfect. If you can have more, do it, but don't forget, warriors, to get your 6 hit percent, and for rogues it's more easy. You just have to reach 4% because you have your talent to add more hits on it. So it's pretty easy for you. With the time, of course, we will allow you to craft the part you will ask to have more frost resistance and better gear. We will also maybe drop some frost resistant item during our next progression. It should help a lot for the first week if we get this. But be sure to come with like stupid green shit for the first week, just in case we are not really lucky or we not manage to get the full amount of frost resistance. And so moving back to the boss, I'm just down now with the frost resistance gear. Now it's just all about the boss. So why we use frost resistance gear? Because Sapphiron have a frost aura, will just tick every 2 seconds and deal 600 DPS to each player on the fight. If you are able to close like all melee at least 200, you should manage to, in the overall, it won't be all the time, but to drop down the tick from the aura to 300. It won't be all the time 300, but sometimes it will be just 100 from the tick, and the other time like 500. So the the average with 200 frost resistance will be around 300 damage each tick, which is still something to just heal, but it's still less than 600. So this is the first one. This one, I talked to you about this melee. Sapphiron will cast some blizzard. It will spawn randomly on some, not some player. I think it will just spawn randomly on the fight. At start, you will just saw one tick of blizzard, and it will start just to move. So when the blizzard will move, we will have to just move a bit from the direction of the blizzard, because it's always on straight line when it moves. So just move from the line and avoid as many ticks as you can. Like most of the time, just don't try to be like here close to zero, because the spell effect is bigger than what you can see on your screen. So you saw here, you saw one who is just moving and moving and moving. This one is one fucking painful thing. Alright, Sapphiron will cast on, it's probably on 6 player, or maybe it's between 6 or 10 player each 30 seconds, a curse. And the fucking curse will do shadow damage on you. It will drain you some HP, and each HP drain will just be moved into Sapphiron. So when you have the curse on you, you will be hit and drop your HP, but you will also heal the boss. So for all mages and for all druids, the main priority on this fight, and I mean it's the main one, is to decurse this one. Because the slower we are on the decurse, the longer will be the fight. Of course, we have some trick to avoid maybe to die by this or to give too much HP to the boss. First is to use a Shadow Protection Potion, GSPP, but because it's really expensive, and at first we will have to use it mainly for the tab. I don't know how we will manage to do it. Maybe for the first kill I will ask you to use one, we will see. But for example, as a Warlock, don't forget to use your Shadow Guardian, because if you soak the damage, you won't heal the boss. So at least it's a win situation for us. Well, the boss is a dragon, so he cleaves. Well, nothing new, but also he eats like crazy shit. All right, the tank will get sometime like 6k or 5k melee hit. So get ready, healers, and don't be surprised by the amount of melee damage he can do on the tank. The tank will be, by the way, in full avoidance gear on this one. And also, because it's a dragon, you have the tail swipe, so don't stay close to the tail. And here is the P2. So on Sapphiron, you have two phases. Phase 1, he is on ground, and well, it's like Onyxia. We have to sit on the flank and blah blah blah, do the fight, avoid all the shit. And there is a P2, like Onyxia, he fly into the air. But on this one, it will be slightly different. As soon as the boss fly, because we are on a hard side, we won't be able during phase 1 to just spread out. We have to be at least small group of players, like probably four different groups of range, with some healers, decurs, and blah blah blah, dispatching into the room. For the melee, well, they have to hit the boss, so it's not like they can be too spread anyway. But as soon as the boss fly, you have to dispatch yourself and use a placement like in Kitun, but because we won't be able to assign you one specific space and placement on this room, it's just up to you to find a good one. You have to be spread at least to more 5 yards, and you will have the place to do it on this boss to avoid any shit on this one. Alright, this one is a frost bomb. Alright, so the player who get hit by the frost bomb will just get hit by 2000, I think, frost damage. The ability should be that. Oh, sorry, it's just waiting here. So it's 2600 and 3400 damage. All right. You can also resist part of it if you have some frost resistance gear. But the splash effect is about 10 yards. So if you have some players who are close from 10 yards to the one who gets the bomb, they will also get hit by the frost damage. And because you have already some damage frost by the aura, you will just get close to the death if you get hit at this time by the player too close to you. So all player will have to dispatch and wait for the bombs. You have all the time during phase 2 5 bombs. Alright, it's just 5. As soon as the 5 bombs will drop, Sapphiron will land one more spell. So you saw the bomb here. For example, here they are just fucking too close. Alright, it's a mess. This to one, right, the warlock and the paladin to the right, it's fine. They have enough space, but all those players is just a fucking mess. So the warrior here replies himself, and it's perfect. And after that, well, we will saw it after that. All right. As soon as the 5 bolts just drop on the red, you will saw this one who will drop from the mouth of the boss, and as soon as this one just touch the ground, each players who are not hiding behind an ice block will be dead. So all the point is to be ready as soon as the last one, or maybe the fourth one, frost bomb land, to find an ice block that you can reach in less than 5 seconds. Because as soon as the boss just start to cast the frost breath, you just have 5 seconds to get hide behind block before dying. And when it hits the ground, cheese, you saw the hunter right here who just died. It's the same thing like in Chromagus, but the breath is this time just will kill you 100% of the time. And as soon as the boss drop back, we will just be back on phase 1. And there is no phase 3, no enrage. It will be phase 1, phase 2, phase 1, phase 2. Alright? So here it just explained a bit about the positioning. It will be slightly different for us because we are on outside. So we have the shaman and we have to use this. Most of the melee will be on flank, alright, here and here. And we will probably use a placement on 4 group. One will be on 1 and 3 positioning, one will be on 5 and 7, one will be on 6 and 8, and one will be on 2 and 4. This placement is just for P1, but when P2 will occur, all the players in the group like 2, 4, 6, 8, 5, 7 or 1, 3 will have first to move back a bit, because all the melee will have to find a spot to drop the ice block if they got one. So for the melee, the spot for the ice block should be around this Right, around this to this. All the entrance to the source will be free for you, melees. So you can just go right here. Not on the front. If you can avoid the front, it could be nice. But you can just drop, move back to the source, dispatch a bit, and find a place for you. You will also have all the spots here and here, because all the player here will move back behind. But you will never, I mean never, get here. Alright, this place is forbidden. Why? Because it's the same thing like in Chromagus. I don't know if some of you remember, but one time we had a block close to the wall, and when you have a block close to the wall, you won't be able to hide behind him because you don't have a space for it. So you don't want to drop any block here. So the max position for you should be here or here. You just have to be close to this spot and dispatch, of course. Well, that's pretty much everything I have to explain you. I mean, this one is just slightly different, and he will talk about frost resistance after, so it's not a big deal. That's all for Sapphiron. I hope you listen all and you can just hear me right now, because this fight is pretty tricky. You have a lot of tools to do, and you have a lot of tools to understand to be able to kill it, especially on Horde side. It will be more tricky because we don't have any paladins. We still have the frost resistance totem, but the range of this fucking totem is not really huge, so it will be more harder for us. But if we manage to have a good placement, a good setup, it could be fine. It's not that hard. Maybe we will be able to kill it in our first week. Maybe not. It's not a big deal. Anyway, even if we are not able to kill it on first week, it will be easier on week 2 because we will have more frost gear. So it could be nice also to don't spend too much time if we see we are not able to kill it with our current frost resistant gear. It's over for me now. I will just drop this on Discord, and wish you a nice weekend, all of you. Thanks.